welcome back to Crypto Simplified. In today's video, we shall be looking at energy tokens. If you are a regular subscriber or viewer on my channel, then you know that I absolutely love our renewable energy future. This is one of the few things I am absolutely 100% bullish on, and I believe that cryptocurrency and energy tokens are a match made in heaven because of the potential that we have of peer-to-peer electricity marketplaces. I shall be reviewing 4 tokens today. They should be familiar to you. If you don't know about them, I shall give a quick summary about what they have to offer, and then comparing their pros, cons, market resilience, as well as their potential roadmap to the future. Before I get into the video though, I'd like to remind you that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just the start of your research. I've included all my links in the description. Do follow them through and read up some more before you make any investment decisions. So first up, let's have a look at Power Ledger. This is by far the most visible of all the energy tokens that I will be talking about today. They're based in Australia. They have a fantastically academic viewpoint about this because we all understand that cryptocurrency is in very early stages, as is this peer-to-peer electricity sales system. There has been some misinformation in the past that they focus on conventional energy as well. That is not true. Their focus is entirely on renewable energy. A major part of what they want to do with the academic focus, as I mentioned earlier, is working with NGOs, education institutions, companies, and governments to make a smarter electricity grid that has less waste, and it can actually move the electricity to where it is needed most at the time. A major part of what they want to offer in the future as well is electric vehicle metering and settlement. So this future that we've all imagined, where the car that you're driving has its own cryptocurrency wallet, so it pays tolls and it pays for charge while also getting you money by driving other people around when you're not using it. Power Ledger are sort of working towards a future where this is possible. So let's have a look at Power Ledger's price action then, and it's not really been pretty. Let me move this away so you can see this better. So it's not really been pretty. We had a massive high of $1.84. We've made slight moves towards recovery, but we've got a massively long way to go. I shall compare all these metrics a little bit later in a few slides. But let's jump into the next project, and we're going to talk about WePower. So I have made a video on WePower when they were in the ICO stage. So this is a Lithuania-based company, and their idea, unlike the other projects, which are mainly peer-to-peer electricity marketplaces, this one is actually crowdfunding of renewable energy projects starting in Europe, but they're going to move around the world. So the demand for this ICO was absolutely massive. The hype was huge, and that's because they had a very solid team. They had a very specific use case that had a huge amount of interest and volume. And let's face it, in a world where everything is run by devices, electricity will never reach a maximum demand. So because of the amount of interest that they had in this project, they set a 0.2 Ethereum spending limit for each participant. So the main thing about these tokens is that they enable you to fundraise for certain projects that you might be interested in. So by holding the WePower token, you can buy a token that is released by the company that wants to fund their project. And then it is that token that contributes to the actual fundraising of this project. Let's have a look at the price action of this one as well. And it's also not pretty. Even though they had a 28-cent high, now the price is about 3 cents. Of course, when you're looking at valuations so small, it's a lot more beneficial to look at the Bitcoin valuation. And we're still not too far away from that BTC low that we experienced not long ago. Next up, let's have a look at a project that maybe not too many people have heard about. But this one is Restart Energy, also known as MWAT. This is a very interesting company because they are based in Romania, but they have a very, very global outlook. So this is an energy company. They have revenue, they have customers, they've been around for a while, but their goal is to use blockchain technology to eliminate middlemen, which a lot of us have agreed is one of the best uses of blockchain technology. So unlike the other projects here, they are actually completely vertically integrated because they manufacture their own solar cells. Holding this token will give you access to their platform where you can buy and sell electricity, but it's a 2-token system. So when you have the MWAT token, you get up to 1000 KW tokens every month, and that is a peer-to-peer marketplace where the prices fluctuate based on supply and demand. But 1 MWAT gives you up to 1000 KW tokens every month. Let's have a look at that price action, and the bear market hasn't actually been as brutal for MWAT as it has been for the other tokens when it comes to just flatlining over this bear market period. There have been a few moments of joy for holders. Most recently, there was quite a great pump where I did sell a lot of my stake, but I did buy again on the way down. So the USD low of 2 cents doesn't seem too different to the USD price today, and the same can be said for the Bitcoin valuation. 231 Satoshis is the low, 241 Satoshis is the current valuation. Right now, this is a very tiny project, and the weird thing is that their revenue is actually higher than their cryptocurrency market cap. So I do think this is an opportunity, but remember, I'm not a financial advisor. You've got to do your own research before making any investment decisions. And the last project that we shall be looking at for this comparison is Electrify.Asia, a Singapore-based company, and they focus on both renewable and conventional energy. And the reason for this is that Asia does have a massive electricity deficit. People do not have enough power, and in order to get electricity to everyone, we got to actually embrace all the means necessary. Of course, it would be beneficial if we started up more solar, wind, and tidal power plants compared to coal-fired power plants, but until we have 100% electricity penetration for all people, coal-fired power plants are not going to go away anytime soon. Oh, I forgot to mention hydroelectric power is huge in Asia as well. That was a major omission, but the idea stays the same. We need more electricity all over this continent. So they want to incentivize people to set up their own renewable energy generation devices, such as solar panels, which are the most accessible right now. And what they want to do is to get more energy onto the market. As I mentioned earlier, they are a peer-to-peer electricity marketplace, but their main objective is to increase the amount of transparency in electricity purchasing, and also creating an adaptability facet that lets people choose what sort of electricity they want to buy. Of course, the rates will vary depending on the source that you like, but I suppose the price on your conscience will be a lot less if you're choosing the renewable route and if you can afford that renewable route. So let's have a look at the price action on Electrify.Asia then. And it seems that, just like the others, we have a bit of a flat line. Of course, we are very close to its all-time low, just 3 Satoshis off it as per the recording of this video. Of course, it might change when you actually see this video. So from here onwards, we'll be looking at things as more of a comparison. If you notice at the top of every slide with the new projects, I did color code them. This is just to avoid confusion, so don't be too alarmed by that. The colors don't mean that I like one project more than the other. Not at all. The colors are just for your reference. So first up, let's have a comparison of the use cases. And let's go clockwise. So let's start with Power Ledger, peer-to-peer marketplace, and they're focusing exclusively on renewable energy. WePower crowdfunding, focus on renewable energy. Electrify.Asia, peer-to-peer, and they're focusing on renewable and conventional energy. MWAT, peer-to-peer marketplace with renewable energy. So it would seem that MWAT and Power Ledger have very similar use cases and USP. So does that really make it a USP? Not really, but they are operational in completely different parts of the world. So they do have value propositions that are important. Next up, let's have a look at the strategic advantages. And this is sort of what will make projects hang around. So Power Ledger are trying to get in there right at the grassroots level with the educational and government side. So they also have a significant number of partnerships outside Australia, Tech Mahindra in India is one of these partners, and in India we desperately need energy all over the country. There have been promises from the government for years, and the sort of deadline for these promises of electrifying all the villages keeps getting pushed back. We still do not have 100% power penetration in India, and this has massive potential for growth in that sector. WePower has government partnerships as well as private partnerships. So since a lot of their projects are focused on solar energy, partnerships in North Africa could really give them some fantastic output. Electrify.Asia, they have a few government partnerships in Asia. Seems to be only in Asia, but that's not a bad thing at all, because Asia does have, like I said earlier, a huge energy deficit. And finally, with MWAT, we do know that this is the first nationwide implementation of this technology in Estonia. They're also active in Romania, and they have government partnerships all over the European Union. That is a massive advantage that they have with their single market, because they have a huge advantage for sending out their own native solar panels, and also they've vertically integrated the entire sales process. So MWAT really do have some beautiful strategic advantages. Next up, let's have a comparison of the tokens, and it turns out that these are all ERC20 tokens. And all of them, except for Electrify.Asia, have a dual token system. So you need the major token to buy the smaller tokens, and then with these smaller tokens, you can actually transact in the marketplace. This sub-token is not tradable on exchanges, it's just tradable on the respective platforms. And this token's price will definitely vary based on supply and demand within that internal system. Of course, the major tokens, their price will fluctuate based on the supply and demand of the open cryptocurrency market based on the exchanges that they are on. Of course, being ERC20 tokens, they can be traded on your decentralized exchanges with Ethereum smart contracts. So hopefully, as these pick up in volume, these tokens will gain in price. Electrify.Asia has a fairly special way of looking at this stuff, because it is a single token model. So the value of this project rests entirely on supply and demand in one facet. This may increase or reduce the volatility compared to the other tokens. We don't really know just yet, because we don't have a large enough sample size of time to actually say this definitively. But they do have a pretty intelligent way of looking at it, because what they want to do is to convert existing electricity meters into a smart electricity meter. And they're doing this with a power pod device that they just link to your existing meters. This is basically an IoT device, and these are going to be shipped very, very soon. Next up, a very, very important aspect for companies like this, it's revenue. A lot of these companies are already generating revenue. MWAT and Electrify.Asia both have been around for a while. These were both companies that existed before they were cryptocurrency projects, and I think that is completely vital, because these are both companies with existing consumer bases, existing infrastructure, and they have been earning for a while, and they saw cryptocurrency as an opportunity to improve on their system. In my opinion, this is the best possible route that a company can take, because they're already solvent. They have very few liabilities, and they're not constructing a system from the ground up. Their ICOs were just methods of distribution rather than methods of fundraising, which of course they did get that advantage, but the distribution was what gave them their true advantage in their ICOs. For Power Ledger and WePower, it's slightly different. Power Ledger does have their marketplace, and they do get transaction fees on their Sparks tokens, but they have mentioned that a major part of how they're generating revenue is selling power tokens. WePower, they just serve as a broker, and of course if they take even a 0.5% fee, which is unlikely, they're probably going to take a much larger slice of the pie, they will get a lot of money, because these are multi-million-dollar projects that they are brokering. So of course they will take money from both sides. From you, since you have to have WePower tokens to buy the specific token for the fundraising, as well as taking money from the companies that they are setting up these projects with. Everyone, except for arguably Power Ledger, are very, very well placed for massive amounts of revenue. The only company, however, to make their revenue figures public are MWAT, and they do have some fantastic projected revenue numbers for the end of this year, $100 million in revenue. They've been growing 5x every year for the last 3 years. So this is highly, highly impressive. Of course, this bear market might affect MWAT's actual revenue, just like it did for the Bitmain IPO, but we won't get into that. Let's not speculate. Let's just wait for some cold, hard facts. So next up, let's have a look at the global reach of these countries, because electricity is needed everywhere. Wherever there are human beings, electricity will be needed. And let's see where these companies are actually active. Power Ledger have a presence in the USA, in India, as I mentioned earlier, Japan, Thailand, and New Zealand. So we have a mix of developing countries and the tippy top of the developed countries when it comes to infrastructure. So India and Thailand offer some great opportunities for Power Ledger to deploy their ideas in emerging markets. WePower, they're going for countries that have either lots of sun, such as Spain and Australia, or fantastic infrastructure where they are already set up, like in Finland. So WePower are going the easy route here. They're not changing the world, they're just providing tools in order to make things smoother. MWAT has a franchise system that enables holders of the cryptocurrencies to start up an MWAT franchise. So by just holding the tokens, the company will help them set up the infrastructure that they need in order to make this a reality. So they're already active in Singapore, China, Serbia, UK, Hungary, Spain, Italy, USA, and Germany. Compare this with Electrify.Asia, who are a Singapore-based company. So it seems like MWAT are moving in on their turf. But if you look at it this way, if Electrify.Asia gets a highly technologically advanced country on board with a system like this, countries that want to modernize their grid will look to Singapore as basically a proof of concept that this can be us if we just take this risk and work to make things a lot smoother. So before we have a look at the future prospects of these companies, let's have a look at how they fared in this bear market. And when it comes to bear resilience, these numbers do not make pretty reading. Almost all of them are in the 90% plus losses. WePower have had a very, very recent rally that have moved them away from that 90% red zone, but they've all had a very, very bad time. Bitcoin is down significantly, and altcoins will always swing harder than Bitcoin in whichever direction Bitcoin goes. MWAT have felt the burn the most, with a negative 97% in both USD and Bitcoin valuations. And that's what raises the question that if you bought in at those times, not because they were pumping, but because you actually believed in these projects, with the projected revenue that we've seen for some of these companies, with the projected growth that we anticipate in the markets in which they are active, would a 97% decrease from the all-time high make you want to buy these projects into these projects any less? That is my question. Because I didn't buy at the all-time high, I bought when it was significantly higher than the price is right now. But because I believed in these projects, I won't tell you which ones I bought into, but because I believed in these projects, I kept buying on the way down as it hit my targets. Because I don't want it to go down and then regretting not buying it that low. So I'm okay with taking a temporary loss because I do believe in the long-term potential of these projects. However, these are decisions for you to make. So looking forward, what can we expect from these renewable energy projects? So first up, let's just get Power Ledger out of the way. Their roadmap is fairly unclear. They haven't given us any really specific information. They just told us where they're active, and we can sort of speculate about how they can get involved in those areas. They're with some big companies, they're with some government organizations, so they really are getting in at the bottom. But also, the drawback of working with government organizations, things take way longer than they would if you're working with private companies. WePower are doing something fairly similar. The partnerships are undisclosed because of heavy non-disclosure agreements and all that, but we will know about these projects as they are announced. Of course, this doesn't help with any hype, but I'm pretty sure that there are lots of privacy hurdles that they need to get over themselves. We do have significantly more clear roadmaps with MWAT and Electrify.Asia. MWAT have just listed a whole bunch of countries where they feel that they're going to be active. And this, the advantage to what MWAT are doing is that individuals who decide to hold a lot of their tokens automatically become eligible to set up their own franchises. Of course, it's up to the individuals to do that. And while this can hamper some situations, especially if they don't have the funding to do it, this will also enable people to really get going, especially if they have basically sorted out their legal and governmental requirements. Electrify.Asia have some great landmarks coming up before the end of the year. They would like to have the betas of their power pods, that IoT device, to convert any electricity meter into a smart meter. They want to have those shipped by the end of the year. Well, the betas of those shipped to a few people who are going to be doing all the testing. The marketplace and the wallet should be live very, very soon. And by 2019, they hope to expand beyond their own national borders. So now you have a bunch of decisions to make, because which one should you buy? I've left all of these blank because based on how you see this renewable energy future, you have a few decisions to make. If you believe the future of energy is sort of power plant based, if you think that we still need these huge generation areas of energy, maybe WePower is your project to have a look at. If you think the educational side and the government interaction side is really important, maybe Power Ledger is your thing. If you think that the individual taking control of their own energy, generating this energy and selling it on and profiting off everyone else benefiting, then maybe MWAT and Electrify.Asia deserve your attention. I'm not going to tell you which one to buy because, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This video is purely educational. Let me know which one of these projects are you most bullish on, or are you bullish on all of them? Personally, I love this energy sector. If you love this energy sector too, why not leave a like? Let me know what you think about all these projects. Be as in-depth as you like. I'm always available on Twitter, so do drop me a line if you have any knowledge to share. So that's all from me. This is Marv from Crypto Simplified, signing off. I do hope you folks enjoyed this video. Do leave me a like if you did. Leave me some constructive criticism if you didn't. We shall catch up very, very soon. Laters.